what four cornerbacks that's currently on a team or free agents should the Ravens go after. All right? All that and more on this show, the Ravens Football Junkies. All right, fam, here we go. The top four cornerbacks out there that many believe would do justice to the Baltimore Ravens. All right, I got a little list here, and the first one is Amik Robertson of the Detroit Lions. He largely served as a nickelback. He was in the slot a lot, and he showed out. People said, if we ever moved away from Humphreys, he'll be a great plug-and-play guy. Could lock down that position, and we wouldn't miss a beat in coverage. Now, in 2024, his PFF rating he was the fifth highest grade cornerback. He was the fifth highest grade cornerback in the aspect that he had three forced fumbles in that year. And in coverage-wise, he had 7 passes broken up, and he put an exclamation on his work when he locked down none other than Justin Jefferson. All right? He locked him down in the final week of the 2024 game season, and, many people saying he's good. Matter of fact, check this out. He held Justin Jefferson, to only 3 catches, 54 yards, and no touchdowns. So, that right now is commendable. He held his own, good young cornerback, and many believe that if the Ravens have the opportunity to grab him, he would help keep us even keeled and be a younger version of Humphreys, maybe a little bit more physical. The next one, y'all. Now, I know it's a dream. It would be a dream. But the next one is Greg Newsome of the Cleveland Browns. Now, a trade with an AFC rival ain't going to happen, right? But 9 times out of 10, we've seen some things happen. For a player of Newsome's caliber, but I don't know. I've seen the Eagles do it within their division, so, it's all possible. It's all possible. Newsome is coming off of a somewhat down year, so if you got him, you could get him relatively cheap. He allowed a higher passer rating when targeted than compared to 2023. However, the Browns defense as a whole took a step back, so maybe he was overcompensating, trying to do more with less, but either way, he had a down year. Looking at him, he could come in and be a man-to-man covered corner. He could be. I think with the Browns' defense being jacked up last year, it caused him to regress. And everybody on that defense, except for Myles Garrett, looked bad. So with him coming in, knowing that the front is covered, linebackers are doing his thing, he has this one job to do, and that's just lock down that receiver. So, he would be an awesome addition if he ever came available. And what the Cleveland Browns, the way their salary cap is and the way they're signing people, he may become a target. Also on the Kansas City front, some people pointed out Jalen Watson. He's coming off a good year with Kansas City despite missing 11 games due to injury. That said, he also entered the final year of his contract, and considering what the Chiefs saw Ladarius Sneed do in large part because of the situation with Watson, he may become expendable. Okay, he may become expendable. I'm just looking at the fact that he's a young corner going into a contract year. 9 times out of 10, Kansas City have a choice. Either they're going to look to upgrade and let him go, or extend him on a budget-friendly contract. But we know in the NFL ain't nothing budget-friendly. Everybody's looking for a come-up. And if this is his contract year, he may ball till he fall, go out there, do his thing, and come back asking for the bag. And if Kansas City don't do it, somebody else is out there going to do it. Ravens fans, I don't want to hurt your feelings. When corners go out and they max out and they ball out 9 times out of 10, the Ravens not going to be in the discussion because we know the methodology and the madness of the Ravens. Best player at the best price. That's why we bring in a little older players, guys still just teetering towards out of their prime because they'd be relatively cheap. But then we've seen us bring in Peterson. He came as a cornerback that still had some upside to him. We brought in Roquan Smith. So there is a possibility, but again, it's right player, right price. And then I know the mailbag was just blowing up with this one name. And I think the media started this thing. He's still in the Green Bay Packers, Jair Alexander. Everybody has an affinity for him. I watched him play. He has a lot of upside, but he has a lot of injuries. And that's the one thing that scares me. When you pay a guy premium price, you want premium play. And I don't know if he can do it. But again, like what my guy Craig said, players that come here, a lot of them get their careers resurrected. And I say, well, they do, but we signed a ball hawk in Marcus Williams. He came in and gave us 2 years, and he put them guns on the Ravens. He stuck them up for over $70 million, and we got 2 good years and then a lot of injury. And then when he came back, he was a shell of himself. Maybe he needs a new scenery. So that's what scares me about these corners. And when they say Jair Alexander, he played in only 14 games over the last 2 seasons. 14 games. And everybody's beating me up when I say I really don't want a guy to play 14 games. Because 14 games in 2 seasons, seasons are 17 games. So that's 34. He only played in 14 out of 34. He missed 20 games. That's a problem with me. I need him to come in and ball till he fall. And what makes y'all think he won't be another Marcus Williams? That's my thing. I'd rather draft a corner in the second round or top of the third round. I know they say after the second round, the corners drop off, but you can get some guys that are coming and plug and play. I believe there's some guys that's not even on the national media's radar that could come in here and go straight to work. So Jair Alexander, and then you looked at, Carrington Valentine stepped in and had a great year in his spot. So, Jair, I don't know if he's still going to be there. I wouldn't trade for him. Nah. If they cut him, then I might take a look at him. But nah, we got to stop being in panic mode, Baltimore. I think that's where we at. We get in panic mode and think we got to go sign these guys right away. And we act like there's no salary cap. And then a second question that somebody gave me before I conclude this broadcast was, with the Ravens salary cap, how can we get more money? And that's real simple, because we got to sign Kyle Hamilton, and I think it's a perfect time now to extend him. You got Tyler Linderbaum. You got all 3 of our tight ends will be free agents next season. So you want to shore up Isaiah Likely. I would bring back Charlie Cola. So they may draft, with all those draft picks, they may draft another tight end this season. If he's a baller. They also could, this is what they could do. They can extend Henry, extend Lamar. I would do it now. Extend Lamar, that way he could free some more cash in the next 2 to 3 seasons. I would also look at tying up, start playing around with Flowers. Flowers will be coming up soon. Bateman signed up this, I think, a 2-year deal, so you may want to extend him. I would extend him now because I'm going to do a show on him. But last year, he placed in the top 5 in like 7 categories as a receiver. So I think he's showing his upside with Lamar out there, putting that ball out there. But we got to look at showing up some of these guys, getting that offensive line, getting the defensive line, another 1 or 2 players. I think right now that the interior of the defense need a big, brutal, bruising defensive tackle. And if we can generate pass rush or a lot of pressure from that inside, from the front four, that'll make sacks a lot easier. You remember those seasons where Suggs was out there, when we had Bolware, when we had those guys like that, McCrary. We had some big guys. We had Sam Adams. We had Kelly Greggs. We had Goose. We had guys that could move and create interior pressure. And when that pocket starts pushing in on the quarterback, he runs right into one of the pass rushers. So, that line and the Eagles showed what could happen with a four-man rush. Just four men created havoc, and Kansas City couldn't do nothing. So right now, yeah, I look to Lamar. I look at extending Hamilton. I look at extending maybe Henry. You got to extend Bateman before he starts going crazy and then you can't afford him. You're going to have to make a choice. What two of the three tight ends you're going to keep? And with me, no disrespect, I would love to see Mark Andrews retire a Raven. I would love to see it. I would love for them to go back in and say, we're going to sign Kyle Hamilton. We're going to sign Mark Andrews to an extension. We're going to sign Likely to an extension. And that will cause Likely to get more of the number one spot. They have to start looking at changing of the guard. Mark is still serviceable. He's a top 10 tight end through the season. His season record say he's a top 10. Now in the postseason, he's not a top 10 talent. And we have to improve right there. And I was hoping last season, with that catch in the end zone, would have put him over. But, things happen. But we got to look to the future. I believe Isaiah Likely and Charlie Kolar are two tight ends to look for the future. I think we need to draft another one. I think, and then I'm going to talk about our running back situation a little bit later this week. But I'm not sold on Ali. I'm not sold. People talks all this stuff. I watched him fumble in college. He got in the big games here. He fumbled and got in the doghouse. The guy I want to see is lightning in the bottle, a.k.a. Keaton Mitchell. That's my dude. I want to see him fully recovered and getting out there. But it's going to be kind of hard because Hill ain't playing no games, y'all. He comes to work every day, and he puts in work. He's surprising. I think he's one of the most underrated running backs in the league. Do you agree? Leave me some comments. Do you think he's one of the most underrated? And don't forget, if y'all haven't already subscribed to this channel, please help your boy out. I need 200 subscribers. And how do I get there? You click on the subscribe button and hit the bell icon. So every time I go live, every time I got some updated news, you'll get it. You feel me? That's what I need. I need your help. I need you to hit the subscribe. And then I need you to share. Share the link with like 4 or 5 friends who are Ravens fans or football fans. And we can build up our community. I want to do some live stuff at some hotels. I want to do some at a couple sports events. I want to do a tailgate party this year where we go live. A lot of things. I want to bring some of you guys on. I believe together we can do this thing. This is a podcast for Baltimore, by Baltimore football fans. No, I'm not an expert. I'm just a fan that love football, and I want to come out and show out. Don't forget, subscribe. Let everybody know about me. Share, like. And do me a favor. Right down here is my mailbag. Send me your questions. Send your questions to that email. Email them over to me. I'll read them. I'll research them. And on the upcoming shows, I'll break them out the bag. A little bit down the line, as we get more structured and stuff, I'm going to go on and start giving out prizes to the question of the week. So come on, y'all. Get the questions coming in. Give me suggestions of who y'all want to see on the show. What you want to talk about in the show. I got some games coming up. I got a lot of things in mind, but we getting these first ones out the way. I want to thank y'all for your dedication. I want to thank y'all for your love. And until next time, do me a favor. Make Ravens Football Junkies your podcast, your number one. All right? Peace and blessings.